Wander Wealthy Podcast, episode 242. Hi, friend. Welcome back to another episode of the Wander Wealthy Podcast. For those of you who are brand new to this show, my name is Tess Wicks. I am the host, and this is a solo show. Most of my shows are solo shows. And I'm here to help you navigate the world of building an online money coaching business. As someone who navigated that same world, but only, 5 years ago, I understand all of the ebbs and flows and points of confusion and just unique nuances that money coaches specifically face. And I created this podcast to help, bring some education, bring some encouragement and support, and just any kind of advice or insight that I can offer. And today's show is really close to me because it is something that I think we all deal with. And I finally learned something that really helped me through the feeling of the kind of constant doubt and questioning that I definitely felt earlier on when I was starting out and, in the early stages of being a money coach. This questioning around, am I cut out for this? Or thinking, this is harder than I thought. Do I really want to go through with this? Or, there's things that I don't want to do because it feels like work, and building my own business. Everyone says it's supposed to be, it's supposed to flow, and it's supposed to feel easy, and it doesn't feel easy right now. What is going on? And I just wanted to offer some insight and, personal experience and advice that has been passed on to me. And I hope that it can help you when and if, hopefully not when, but it could be inevitable. But if you are experiencing that kind of nagging questioning, the negative thought patterns that are potentially keeping you up at night, but also just the doubts around, am I cut out for this? Am I supposed to do this? This is harder than I anticipated. Some of these things I'm not so comfortable with, and not like in a icky discomfort way, but just in a putting myself out there is scary kind of way. So maybe also this is scary and nerve-wracking, and I don't know if I'm doing this right, and just the constant questioning and doubting. So let's dive in and talk about it. Okay. Before I do, just a little reminder from this week's podcast sponsor, which is Wander Wealthy. There's many ways to work with me this fall in a way that is super accessible and will really get your business the results that you're looking for. We have the pricing formula, which is a great way to dive in to understand the value of money coaching. And it's $27 to get the calculator and the full pricing guide, and also some of my bonus trainings around pricing for inclusion and having a good mindset around pricing and how to have a strong mindset around pricing, and so much more. And you can head to wanderwealthy.com/pricing to get that. When you sign up for that, you get access, potential access if you choose, to also partake in the Simple Sales Masterclass. So if selling has you kind of a little scared, then this masterclass is going to share the entire sales process that I use with my clients, with my potential clients, that I teach my clients also, and that I think will just calm your nerves and really see sales as a beautiful opportunity to kind of establish your coaching chops with your potential clients, but also how to really, turn a potential client into a customer. So the Simple Sales Masterclass is only available to those who also join the pricing formula. It's just like a little exclusive bonus add-on that you can choose to opt into or not. And then for those who do join the pricing formula, you can also get an exclusive rate to join the client attraction content matrix. The matrix is not only a tool, but also a representation of a full-on content strategy. And when you join the Client Attraction Content Matrix, you get access to the full curriculum around content strategy and really understanding what's going into the tool and how to make the best use of the tool. But of course, you also get access to the tool, which is the matrix itself. And it really helps to pull in every aspect of a strong content strategy and then allows you to ideate over 180 ideas of content that you can create to really resonate and ultimately convert your audience members and potential clients into paying clients. So it's an amazing time saver, game changer. It's something that I actually use in my business. I mean, pretty much everything I sell, I use in my business, to be frank with you. But that's not the case for some people, I can tell you that. But I use the content matrix every single week and month when I'm planning my content, when I'm writing my content, and it is a game changer. It truly, truly has made creating content for me so much easier and so much more effective and efficient. So if you're interested in that, like I said, you can join the pricing formula and then get access to the content matrix at an exclusive price, or you can just get yourself inside of the content matrix by heading to wanderwealthy.com/content. All right. That's all for the sponsors. But let's talk about not feeling great and questioning and doubting everything and what's really going on. So I myself have experienced this many times throughout my career in this business. And I also have clients who experience it. And I can honestly tell you that feeling discomfort, a lot of people mistake it as a sign to not do something. But oftentimes what you're experiencing is the discomfort of being outside of your comfort zone. So you've taken the step and now you are just like really uncomfortable. And all you want to do, the reason you're being kept up at night and the reason that you are just overthinking and overthinking and overthinking is because your subconscious part of your brain, the one that's responsible for like the eating, drinking, sleeping, breathing, walking, talking, pure survival, it is feeling that push of things are different. Things are changing and this is not comfortable for me. So it's sending you alerts to be like, hey, go back to that, nice, comfy, cozy space within our little bubble where things are all good. And so you're feeling this, what you might be perceiving as fear. And what it also could be is excitement. We know that those kind of happen in the same place and on the same vibration. But you're feeling this thing because your subconscious is warning you that this is a danger, that this is unsafe. The truth is, as long as it truly, you're not potentially getting yourself into like a dangerous legal situation or an actual physically dangerous situation, it's not unsafe. It's just uncomfortable. And uncomfortable in a way that is purely just because you have moved beyond what is your normal day-to-day. Now we know the words by, I don't know, people say it's Einstein, but honestly, I don't know who actually originally said it because the actual origins are a little bit murky, but they say that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity, right? But oftentimes when we want to change, we think we can change within our zone of comfort. But if you want a different result, you have to do things differently. You have to be willing to take that step. And that's the second you take that step, that's when all of these like uncomfortable feelings are going to come about. That's when because you're going to be uncomfortable. But that's also when the questioning and the doubting happens because your brain is going berserk thinking that you are operating out of the manual that it had originally set for yourself, right? It's trying to course correct, and it's trying to course correct you back into your comfort zone because that's where it knows you are safe. but you are trying to operate at a different, you've made this decision. And so what's funny is a lot of us make this decision and we're really excited. And this is why like so many people don't hit their goals, because they make a decision, they get really excited, then they find out what it takes to, achieve that thing, that goal. And they might start taking action towards it. And you could think about this, in terms of a fitness goal, a health goal, but you can also think of it obviously in terms of a business goal or anything. But the second you start taking the steps to change, that's when all the warning bells start going off in your mind, or that's when you start to find yourself naturally reverting back to the comfort zone, or feeling that like resistance, right? Because your brain is like, no, we were good over here. We were good, not pushing our fitness to the next level. We were good not pushing the boundaries of, how we're going to show up on social media. We were good with, not doing those things. So maybe you should question everything that you are doing and wonder if it's worth it, and instead go back. Here's the other reason why a lot of us give in to the doubts and the questioning is because results do not happen overnight. No matter how many people you see that are like, oh, I built a 6-figure business in 6 months. Sure, it's possible, but those results are not guaranteed and typically not normal. Same with, weight loss or fitness goals or, career goals, whatever it is. We think that once we make that uncomfortable step outside of our comfort zone, we're supposed to start seeing the results, but it doesn't happen right away. So you have to get used to and get comfortable with being uncomfy, doing the things that are pushing your boundaries, not seeing the results, and then, naturally having those questioning and the doubting feelings come up and go, I hear those questions. I hear those doubts. I know why they're coming up. It's my subconscious fight or flight response trying to tell me and create a situation where I naturally flee back to my comfort zone. And instead, I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to stick out those doubts. I'm going to stick out those questioning, constant questioning. I'm going to stick out not seeing the results, yet doing the thing I need to do, because at least I'm doing things that are different. At least I'm showing up and I'm doing things differently, and I'm going to do them until I see something change, right? Because change does not happen right away. So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But then the second you try something different, know that like you are going to have to continue doing that for some time, ideally not 3 months or 6 months or a year. Sometimes that is the case if you're like doing it a little bit of the slower way, like building a blog or a podcast or a YouTube channel. It does take time to build that traction when you're not able to go out and stand in front of the traffic. But when you're putting yourself out there, let's say on social media, and you're truly going out and standing in front of the traffic and you're talking about your business, and all of that stuff is foreign and new to you, so it's uncomfortable. But if you do it, you are doing something different than what you were doing before, which is probably never talking about it. So you're doing something that is going to, raise those warning signs subconsciously, but you're also going to eventually see those different results. But you got to stick it out. You got to stick through those doubts and those questioning. So here's the lesson. The lesson is that building a business, especially building a money coaching business where there's so many people with all their opinions. And because it's about money, it gets like, hypersensitive, because we're all hardwired to believe that like money is our survival tool, right? So we're all super sensitive about it. But because you want to offer this service and you're doing it in this world of online business and marketing, and you're probably doing it, in a way that no one ever taught you to do, right? Like, they don't teach you entrepreneurial skills in school, especially modern ones, right? That aren't taught in a textbook. So you're doing this stuff. It takes a heck of a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to say, you know what? I want to help others and I want to build a business helping others. I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore because I don't see the impact. And instead, I want to make a living by seeing an impact and helping others and creating this ripple effect. And yes, I'm going to charge for it, but yes, we're going to get them good results. And yes, the people who pay attention, and I know that. So I'm going to defy all of the doubts and the questions that I have and that other people might have about it, and trust the people who can say for themselves, it's possible. I'm one of them, by the way. But trust that, there's other people who are doing it, see that, and I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it because I know that I want to. I know that it's important to me, and I want to make a change. I want to make an impact, and I want this to be the way that I bring money in or bring additional money in, right? Instead of, I don't know, selling something that people don't need. No shame in that. I mean, it's still good to, I buy a lot of things that I don't need, so I still appreciate the people who sell me things that I don't need, but you know what I'm saying. You want to do this, so find that conviction behind doing it. But saying that and actually taking the action and doing it, that takes a heck of a lot of courage, right? So now I want you to think about all the people who you think of as courageous. Just think maybe of a couple people, right? You don't have to think of everyone, but think of the people who are courageous. And then think about what they had to do so that you could call them courageous. And then realize that what you have to do to be a courageous person, to have courage, is never comfortable. Courage feels like shit. Courage feels like you are turning into a new person and you're feeling a little bit like, who is that person that I'm becoming? Because you're stripping away the layers of fear and self-doubt and questioning, and you're putting on a shield of armor that's trying to protect you from those layers trying to slap back on you, right? Because your subconscious mind is like, no, doubt everything. This is weird. Go back to your comfort zone, right? It doesn't feel good. Okay, so the people who are like, oh, you can start a business. It's just going to feel like flow and ease. I get that. But I believe that businesses can be simple. But I will not sit here and tell you it's going to be easy, because I know what courage feels like. And I'm not even someone who's had courage to stand in front of a moving train and save someone's life. I'm sure that courage is even more scary and weird feeling. But I can tell you that having the courage to do this thing, stand up for yourself, make a stand, decide that you're going to do this thing that everyone is doesn't really understand or doesn't really believe you can do, or whatever the doubts they have or you subconsciously are trying to create for yourself, because you're subconsciously trying to be like, no, go back to your comfort zone. This is uncomfortable. Having courage to overcome that enough so that you do eventually, and I also want to say inevitably, see results. That is uncomfortable, but it's also powerful and wonderful. And that's why we think about people who are courageous from a positive light. That's why we look up to people who are courageous, but we don't realize that having courage, the thing that you have to do to have courage, right, in that moment, it never feels good. So let that blow your mind for a second. Let that be like a, oh, wow, breakthrough moment, because it's so true, but I think we so often forget that. So if you're feeling the doubt, the questioning, if you're feeling uncomfy, but you still want to do this, you still get back to your why and you're like, no, this is what I want for myself, then know that it is going to take courage. It's going to take stepping out of your comfort zone to get that change. It's going to take doing things that are different, which is naturally then going to make your brain go, what the fuck is happening? Sorry for my French, but it was appropriate. And that's when that courage comes in, to feel the fear and do it anyway, to put yourself out there. And, it doesn't mean that you have to throw away a bunch of money or spend a bunch of money on something that you don't know if it's going to work. But it does mean that you're going to have to do things that are different than what you've been doing in the past. And you're going to have to continue to do it so that you can see the change, because change takes time, right? There's no such thing as an overnight success. What you don't see oftentimes when you look at people and go, how'd they achieve that? It looks like they did it overnight, are the years and years where they didn't talk about their failures, right? We got to fail our ways to success. And that doesn't sound good, because it's what courage is. Courage is the willingness to show up, knowing that failure, it could happen, but deciding I'm going to do it anyway because I'm willing to fail so that I can get successful. Failing doesn't mean you'll never be successful. Failing might be a small failure just on the road to success. All right, so this is some hot stuff, because I talk a lot about this inside of the Wealthy Coach Blueprint, but I wanted to bring it to you. I made a recent Instagram post about courage and how it's never comfortable, and I wanted to share that with you here on the podcast. So I hope it resonates. I'd love to hear what you think about this week's episode. Head over to Instagram and hit me up. I'm Tess_Wicks. Send me a message. It's not weird. It's cool. I love chatting with you and seeing who's listening. And if you want to get at the show notes of this week's episode, head to wanderwealthypodcast.com/podcast/episode 242. And until next time, I hope you have the courage to wander wealthy.